Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 220. I'll be your host tonight, Brian Rodriguez, along with Guru Tom Edison Pena, and our two special guests of the night, Guru Whitney Lee and Guru Terry Joven from Stockton Multi-Cell Screama. Our Veterans Day show got technical issues yesterday, so we had a little hiccup, but we're back today. So we're back to ask some questions and get some stories on these two individuals' journeys, the military service. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and start the show. Is everybody ready?
Guys, before Guru Brian continues, if you're watching this show, please hit the like button and the heart button. Tell us where you are watching from. And if you got any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comment section.
Put them in the comments. There you go. I just want to take a quick seconds of remembrance for some of the veterans that are still out there serving our country, like Guru Whitney, and some of the people that are deployed. So if it's about 2 or 3 seconds of silence, appreciate it. Okay, guys. Well, welcome to episode 220. This is like I said, it's our late Veterans Day show. So I want to go ahead and have each guest introduce themselves. We'll start with Guru Whitney Lee. She's been a guest prior before, but I'll have her go ahead and introduce herself now.
Sir, thank you. First, thanks for the invite. I'm really honored to do a Veterans Day
program.
So I am currently a major in the United States Army. Although I am here in a personal capacity, I do not represent the U.S. Army on this podcast, although I still serve actively in the Army. I started my career as EOD, so Explosive Ordnance Disposal, so the Army's bomb squad. I did that for about 12 years. I did 3 deployments to Afghanistan with that in support of everyone from conventional Army all the way over to CJ SOTF and other departmental agencies. And then about 2 years ago, I switched over to a functional area, so FA 52. For us, that means I am now a countering weapons of mass destruction and nuclear officer. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm at U.S. Northcom at the headquarters, and I am a branch chief for a sort of secret one-of-one type program.
Awesome. And Guru Terry, I'll let you introduce yourself and talk about your military background.
Well, my military background is nowhere near Guru.
Whatever, Terry. You're he knows he is.
I joined the Army in 1972, and I only spent 4 years. I went to basic training at Fort Ord, California, and after my basic was completed, I went to Fort Polk, Louisiana. So I got a chance to experience that South United States, and then soon after that, I flew off to Germany, and I spent the next 3.5 years over there, and that was a great experience. So I believe that my military experience helped me, and I grew up, and I became a man, because you go in at 18 and you're still not really sure what you're doing, and then all of a sudden you're sitting doing sentry in the middle of the night in the middle of Germany, and you're going, what the hell?
But mistakes were made.
It still was a great experience. That's about it.
Well, I'll introduce myself real quick. Obviously, everybody knows my name. I served in the United States Air Force from 1996 to 2008. I did 2 deployments in Afghanistan, Kandahar and Bagram, and also multiple deployments Middle East, South America for drug interdiction. My primary job was an aircraft mechanic, structural maintenance. Was attached to a special operations squadron at a Herbert Field when I first went to Afghanistan, and as well. And the second time I went was with the A-10 Ground Support Squadron. I currently I've been in aviation since I was 18 years old. I'm still in aviation. I work at Holloman Air Force Base And I'm a supervisor from the T-38 Trainer Companion Program, which trains pilots for the F-16 so they can get their fighter experience in. And like I said, I'm proud to be a veteran and proud to have these veterans here with me. And without further ado, I'll turn to Guru Tom Pena. He was in the reserves, so he has a little veteran story he can share with us as well.
Well, yeah, Guru Tom Pena. Well, I'm not unlike you guys. I haven't seen real action as far as combat is concerned. Just been involved in some rescue, but rescue and disaster. Yeah, my training got cut when the special forces in the Philippines got involved in the coup d'etat. So they became a bit political. So that's all about it.
Well, you're still a veteran in there as long as you serve. That's why I put the uniform on. So still a veteran. I have a first question for Guru Whitney. It's be a question also for Guru Terry. Obviously, we know you guys have served in the military as well as I and Guru Tom. What made you decide one day just to wake up and enlist in the United States Army? Like, what drove you to go ahead and do that?
So I'll be really honest for our viewers and listeners. So I played Division I soccer at Morehead State University. Go Eagles!
Awesome.
And I got hurt playing soccer, so much so that I pretty much couldn't pass the Division I physical. I was already in our ROTC classes. So the year 1 and 2, you get to do all the cool stuff. You get to play paintball, you get to rappel. We had the Daniel Boone National Forest. So we were doing FM 7-8, assaulting bunkers. It was awesome. I thought that's what the Army was all the time. So my sorority sisters and my Army brothers said, hey, why don't you just come on over, commission, you can graduate, do 3 years in the Army, get some experience, and then pay for college. And so that's what I did. It took a long time to get approved because of some injuries, but I had a phenomenal battalion commander that she just kept pushing. We finally got approved, and I remember taking that contract home to my dad and mom for Christmas. And he opened it up and he said, "What's this?" I had it framed. I said, "I paid for college." He said, "What?" "What do you mean?" I said, "Oh, I joined the Army. I paid for college." And that was just as much a motivation as it was. I thought it was cool. I thought it would be great to serve my country and do something like a public civil servant. But I never planned on staying in past that initial contract. And it was just to pay for college.
How many years have you been in now, Guru Whitney?
Almost 15.
15. Wow. Retirement soon down the road, right?
Just gotta hold on.
Yeah. Guru Terry, what about you? What made you decide to enlist and serve your country?
Basically my whole family was all military. I was raised part at Fort Ord and CDO in San Francisco as a child, but my grandfather was in the first Hawaiian Infantry Division in World War One, and then when World War II came along, he re-enlisted in the Navy and became on a submarine. Now his sons, they were all 30-year Army. They're all grunts. They're all Rangers, airborne Rangers, and so growing up, seeing them going to Vietnam and coming back and seeing, and they're always saying, when are you going to join? And I was only like 12. But anyway, and my dad also. My dad was in World War II, Korea conflict. He was a captain. Got rifted down to an E7 later, and then about that time, I think he divorced my mom. That's a story, but pretty much everyone told me that when you get of age, you're going to join the Army. So when I graduated high school, and at the they're giving this it was think it was like $1,100 to if you signed up for 4 years in a combat arms MOS. And so that was either artillery, infantry, armor, or whatever. So I decided to become a 4-year bonus baby and join the Army. That was in 1972, and I do remember that month that they had actually stopped the draft. And the thing was, they were de-escalating pretty much. So the chances of probably going to Vietnam at the time was decreasing. When I got to Fort Ord, the last cycle was heading to their advanced training, then off to Vietnam. In my case, they weren't sending any more units, so at least straight out of your advanced training. I went to Germany instead to go to jump school in Mainz, Germany. And then when I got there, I was supposed to be assigned to the 2nd of the 87th there that were part of the jump they actually deactivated that unit and moved that whole unit to Italy and reorganized the 509th Airborne. So I missed my chance to go on airborne, which was
Your knees will thank you.
Can I ask you, I know for me, like going overseas, like when you're young and you start out of basic training or tech school or whatever like that, how did you feel when you got sent to Germany? Were you scared? Were you excited? Or
scared, excited, and then you get into I think it was called the Gutlut Kaserne in Frankfurt, and they're telling you about don't too strong or whatever. You're gonna also what I do, I was looking for that beer as soon as I could.
Well, you're in Germany, yeah, of course. How about you, girl, Whitney?
So most of my overseas has been, all my overseas has been in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So I've done 3 deployments, all combat deployments, and I think if you're not scared, you're stupid. But excited was definitely a good part of it. It's what we train to do. You go to EOD school, and that's what you want to do, right?
Yes.
And I wanted to support my team leaders who were doing it, and it just felt like if you didn't have a combat patch, you were kind of a weenie. So I volunteered for any and every deployment I could find. I kind of chased them. And I got 3 really cool ones, but you're always anxious. You're always nervous, right? Someone's
of course
legitimately trying to kill you. And so you got to make sure that you have respect for that.
Yeah, I know the first time, my first deployment was Afghanistan. I went to, it was when they were bombing Yugoslavia. The Serbians and the Croatians got deployed to Diego Garcia with the B-52s.
Oh,
yeah, we're supporting, and we're doing like round-the-clock bombing of the Serbians, Croatians. That was my first deployment was overseas. Was that first deployment, and after that, I guess like our shop started rotating out to PSOP and Sultan, Saudi Arabia, and then LUD, and everybody's been to LUD. Oh, I know most people have, and it just like continued on to where I got tired of just being deployed all the time. It was like every couple 6-7 months they're deploying our shop. And I had to, it's like, okay, like I'm gonna get out soon. Yeah. So I didn't want to stay in any longer. Obviously we get deployed like I wasn't like a EOD like you, girl, Whitney, but they still used to mortar the runway, and then we had to go and run in the, when they shoot where the aircraft are at, the parking areas, stuff like that, and then try to blow up the chow hall, stuff like that. And there were some people that I was deployed with. I know probably with you too, girl, Whitney, that lost their lives over there. Some good friends of mine. So it's always hard to do that, to experience that. And I know that you guys probably have lost people too that in combat. But yeah, it's just it's a scary thing when you're young. And I wasn't really that young at the time, but my first time when I went we were out in the middle of nowhere in the Indian Ocean. So I wasn't really in danger there, probably just crashing in the ocean. We're over there. But I think that every person that serves, no matter what they do, from like, someone does cooking to, supply to, EOD to aircraft mechanic, everybody has their own job. And I think they're, everybody puts a uniform on that serves as, just in my eyes, it takes a really big person to do that. So I thank everybody that's on here for that. So I was going to ask, my other question was, did you guys ever get exposed to any kind of martial arts while you're in the military? Was it even a thought at the time when you were enlisted, like, I'm going to do like Taekwondo or FMA, or, when was your exposure? What was your exposure in the military? Was it even on your radar when you guys were in the military, or was it just something that happened afterwards? I'll start with Guru Whitney.
Yes. So the Army has the Army Combatives program. And so you go through that from basic officer training or basic enlisted training, and they maintain the program almost at every base. And so the military puts on a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments, or, combatives tournaments. Really is a lot of jiu-jitsu. So I ended up thinking, you could be violent, you can kind of compete. I'm a very competitive person. And you kind of get to do something besides work that day. So yeah, that was really fun. I always competed in those tournaments, made it to level 2 at a level 3 combatives. That was kind of the exposure. People were always at a jiu-jitsu gym. And so you kind of went from that to, oh, you guys are really good. How'd you get there? So, well, we do, Taibo, or we do this type of jiu-jitsu, or we go here or there. And it's like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. You're always looking for PT to do in the Army that's not just lifting.
Right.
So it was like, yeah, I'll get a good workout and I'll get some skills. Just kind of maintain that here and there throughout.
How about you, Guru Terry?
Okay, well, I think, in 1970, the 70s, there wasn't a lot of martial arts per se that everyone knew about. There was judo. People knew judo from Japan, and karate. Thai boxing wasn't really big yet, even though Vietnam was going, and probably soldiers were coming back with those skills. There was Korean martial arts, because Taekwondo and for the effect that the soldiers were learning when they were stationed in Korea. Anyway, what was really starting to become big back then was the Bruce Lee movies, Kung Fu.
Yeah.
There was a lot of guys. There was actually not a lot of training per se for the military. I mean, we would get up and do some knife kind of stuff, defenses, bayonet drills. We would do some judo falls, but as for our training, rather in martial arts, there wasn't a lot. It was more of we would do it on our. There were a lot of different stuff. Go down to the gym holder, and guys would be working their karate or doing some type of kung fu stuff. And we'd go out there and try to practice, kind of like learning from each other, rather not really having any real. Ever heard of any agreement back then? At least I never heard of it. So.
Great, Tom.
How about you, Brian?
Oh, me? My first martial arts was Muay Thai. I was stationed in Korea for 2 years. I was at Osan Air Base, and I got exposed to the Taekwondo. I guess there's I'm not a big expert in Taekwondo, so don't shoot me or butcher me. Too bad. But I guess there's an American Taekwondo and the actual real Korean Taekwondo. I forgot what it was called, but I know all the ROK soldiers there, because there was ROK Special Forces that were stationed on the base, and those guys were some bad dudes. And, they're gonna mess with those little dudes. They would mess you up. And they took a certain type of Taekwondo. I guess never really had time because of the exercises and everything we're always doing. And then obviously, I'm not gonna save face, all the partying and everything that was done over there when you're overseas. So yeah, I really didn't have time to do that. The second time I went, was exposed to Muay Thai, and that's why my first martial art I was ever in karate or anything like that. I did about 3 or 4 years of Muay Thai with the Air Force gym that was there. They had the class that was there. Then there was a gym that was downtown that I switched to and trained there. Never really got like a rank out of it. It was mostly to keep in shape at the time. Little on did I know later on I would come back to the States and find a gym and start doing it here in the States. But I guess people just lose interest, like in martial arts they do sometimes. And
All right.
I just was like, I want to do something else. And I always saw, weapons, like edged weapons and any kind of weapons like that. So that's why I kind of just went to, the Filipino martial arts. I found an instructor and started dabbling into that. And I liked it. But I'm glad I did take Muay Thai because it taught me how to do striking, knees, clinch, my jabs, just basic striking. So I got a good foundation in that. And then it really helped me on the FMA with the striking, working pads, mitts afterwards. So I understand the mechanics of how to strike, how to kick. And it really helped me out later on. So what about you, Guru Tom? I know I know you're probably tired of telling the story again, but we're going to go ahead and bait you again and have you do it.
No, well, during my time, basically we have a composite of the martial arts that we practice. Mm-hmm. When during my ROTC days, because I was like an NCO, I was like one of the Combatives sergeant. I was already into Aikido back then. So, and I was also doing Warangdo, which is another Korean martial art. So we were like combining all this during our training for the special forces, and knowing basically the how you use it. Basically, we took away all the razzle dazzle of the martial arts and basically did only what we need to do. So that's basically what we were doing back then. But yeah, it was a combination. But I was like doing more of the training with our group because during that time I was one of the NCOs who is basically ranked in a martial arts. So yeah, and then whatever basically we learned, we started also like doing jiu-jitsu, practice doing our takedowns while playing rollerball. So it's kind of like rugby, but instead of like passing the line, you have to dunk it on a tire. So that's how we practice it. All the grapplings and everything. Wow. So that's how we practice. I've got a question for you, actually, the three of you. Did you find any changes or evolution in the military combatives training all throughout the years? Like, how was it before? How is it now? Because I heard that basically even like in the special forces in the States, they do have a different type of combatives program or martial arts program as compared to before. So did you find any difference?
I can't answer that because I never took a combatives. So all I did was basic marksmanship. That was it. But Guru Whitney and Guru Terry can probably answer that better than I can.
Yeah, so when I first came in, I feel like there was more emphasis on it and there were more opportunities for those tournaments and those combatives things. It also was really going to depend on the military base that you're on. So a lot of the bases that are, Fort Campbell, Fort Bragg, the larger bases with a lot of infantry and combat type MOSs, I seem to find that there's a lot more combatives availability there. But as far as military members associated with martial arts, I think that's across the board. Right, so we look for, hey, I need to do PT. I want to be lethal. We're deploying a lot, and so you'll do, kickboxing for PT, but you've got a little bit of that in there. Or you'll go to a jiu-jitsu gym just to kind of wear each other out. So even though it's not as available as it used to be, there's still a program. It's still a good program, still ran well and trained well. I just think there's less of an emphasis on it than there used to be, maybe.
All right.
High tech army now, right? It's gonna be lasers
right.
and robots soon.
Yeah, you think that until you're like, oh no, I still have to walk everywhere and carry all my stuff.
Yeah, wasn't there a time that they started like trying to incorporate a lot of how should I put it? A lot of mind stuff in the combatives training.
Yeah, absolutely. So they do talk about that, right? And it's an important part of it. If I teach any kind of self-defense or start anyone on martial arts, the first thing I talk about is that mental, to be able to get there. And the military, I think, is doing a better job at discussing mental health and being open and more resilient for mental health. I think that's fed into some of that martial arts.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's really good. How about you, Gurtari?
Well, like I said, back in the 70s, there wasn't that much emphasis on like hand combat. I mean, there would be some kind of classes that you might go through, but I think you were on your own if you wanted to learn anything. And I think back then the biggest thing was there were guys that were boxing and that type of stuff, but there wasn't anything else, anything like they have nowadays. So I changed. There is more individual emphasis on individual things and trying to make yourself a better soldier or a better warrior. But I think back then you were luckily just to get just the basic combative training from the Army was not that good. I mean,
Okay.
Cold War era, I think there was mostly NBC and chemical warfare, nuclear warfare training was mostly emphasized. I think, right, for you guys, right, during that year, during that era, more than actually facing the enemy hand to hand.
As an infantryman or a grunt, you would think that they would emphasize a little bit more on the hand to hand, but it really wasn't. We were at the range a lot and practicing practice, patrolling, that type of stuff. What to do, push, that kind of training, but not any real hand to hand or martial arts type training.
So this question's for Guru Whitney. When you were deployed to Afghanistan, did any martial arts, I'm not saying you fought any hand or anything like that, I'm saying any kind of martial arts discipline, or did any FMA like stuff play any part in your deployments, like as far as mental wise or like physically wise, or?
I think you'd have to say yes. And funny enough, a lot of martial arts in general and deployments kind of fed into each other. Not always just I have this skill, I can immediately apply it to my deployment, but there's a lot of downtime in deployments as well. We ran missions a lot, and you're still going to have that downtime. Hey, no one's outside of your tiny little village fob or your large fob or wherever you are. You're not going to be doing a whole lot if no one's out running around. And so you're like, man, what do I do? There's a group of people that I get together and do PT. You're bored, you watch your movie, or you do PT. That's pretty much it. Yeah. And so it was like, okay, let's start playing around. Let's start doing, hey, I've got a knife, take it from me. And I didn't even know 1% of the skills I have now. But we would do jujitsu, or we would just do get in a circle, somebody push somebody in, and okay, now you guys are just kind of roughhousing and fighting enough to where you're not going to hurt each other, but you're just getting something done. It kind of also lets you so it fills space and time, and it also kind of lets you look forward to something when you're done. Hey, we're going to do this tonight. Hey, we've got this scheduled, and it gives you that sort of discipline as well. Okay. I know it takes a lot of time and effort and hours to get good at one move. Just not getting choked. Okay, that takes a lot of time and effort. And you kind of translate over to, okay, well, if I want to be proficient with another skill like my weapon or my EOD skills, I understand that it's not going to come easy, and it's going to take a really long time and just a lot of reps. So you see those similarities, and you kind of just get it beat into you that like the only thing this is going to take is effort and time.
I see.
And I definitely know about the downtime of yeah. I know I went to a peace off in Saudi Arabia, and like that was it was right after they bombed the towers, those Cold War towers. It was a couple years before that. I got to play it after that, and I remember Bin Laden construction company was building stuff on the base, and little did we know after that, September 11th. But I know about the downtime, like there's movies and the gym, people working out, running.
Right.
Unfortunately, at the time, like I said, I wasn't really into martial arts then, so I really didn't do any martial arts stuff, so I can't speak on that. But I know you were deployed and you were already in the martial arts. That's why I asked you that question, like how it played in there. So the reverse question is for both of you. How has your military service impacted your martial arts? I'll let
Terry, you want to go first?
Yeah. He looks like he's ready to get in there.
Well, I think being in the military, you learn a lot of qualities, and one of them is that you're able to lead. You're able to get people to follow you, or as a team leader or squad leader, you're used to delegating what people are going to do, and people are going to trust you, especially in a military situation, or you want to know that guy to your left and right is going to be there to help save your life, watch your back. Mm-hmm. So when I came out of the service, I found that I had good management. I mean, no matter what I was doing, when I went to work, I would be at the bottom, and the next thing I knew, I'd be the manager. So when it came to martial arts, I learned quickly. I seemed to have some natural ability, I guess, would say, and a lot of things just came easier. But I think my military training really helped me learn or know how to teach people. You might do it by the numbers. You might start from one, this move, 2, 3, 4, and you get that from the military. Also, they have like a certain way of teaching, and that you do learn it, and then they check to make sure that you do learn, that you know what you did. And so there's safety involved. There's a lot of different things. So like I teach a lot of adults, but I also teach a lot of kids, and that safety factor has to be really there, and you have to really know what you're doing, because they're both swinging sticks, and you could lose an eye, so easily. But it's just that you have to teach them in a way to that they're able to progress well, learn those attributes that will keep them from. So I think that was the military gave me that confidence, ability to get out there and teach, and now I've run some schools, and I'm kind of I consider myself a good as well as a good student. I'm still learning also.
So hey, how's it going?
Sorry. Hi, buddy. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Okay.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, I'll be down there just a minute, okay? Downstairs,
Okay,
please. Okay, go get it and then go downstairs. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
No,
So my question as well to Guru Whitney is, since you were an officer, as any of the with you, and also with your students, has any of that military gone into your, what kind of like structure do you have for your teaching? Like, are you incorporating any military leadership skills into your FMA teaching, your instruction? Are you like a rank structure? Is there like, just anything military related? Do you incorporate that in any of your instruction, or?
Yeah, so I think yes is the answer. A lot of, I've been in the military almost 15 years. So a lot of formative years as a young adult was spent in the military. And that kind of ingrains in you how you do things. It doesn't mean I'm, 100% Army all the time, but it does give you skills. Like Terry said, it teaches you to lead. It teaches you how to train people and how to be patient. But Terry covered all that really well. You stole my thunder.
See, you guys took it out. Let's talk about.
Should have went first. So one thing respect. I played 6 sports in high school. I played college soccer. I've always been fairly decent at, it's a sport. I can pick it up, right? Kick it, throw it, run, shoot it. Cool. Shooting is different. Rucking is a different PT. And FMA, any martial art is a completely different entity and beast. And so when I got into the military, and when I graduated EOD school as a first lieutenant, I was a lieutenant. I was in charge, right? When I got to my unit, I very quickly realized, with the help of some NCOs, that yes, I was in charge as rank said so, but I did not have the knowledge or experience or 1 ounce of what my brilliant NCOs had. And so thankfully I had very good, very kind NCOs that kind of took me in and would say, that's not a good idea, or we suggest this. Ma'am, I understand why you want to do that, but here's our suggestion. And so it very quickly taught me that even though I was the highest ranking in that platoon, that didn't mean crap, to tell you the truth. And so that really translates over to FMA of, if I show up to a new system, or I show up to Stockton Multi-Style and I've got a 16-year-old and I'm 30-something, that does not matter. What matters is knowledge and experience and ability to translate that knowledge to me. So that has been one of the biggest things, that there is a rank structure, and there's rank structure in FMA, but really the rank structure also has to do with who's a graduate, who's an instructor, almost nothing else. And that was really hard in the military to kind of figure out, because you've been told, hey, you're going to be the lieutenant, you're going to be in charge, you have to take charge, win in charge, take charge. And to be like, yeah, guys, I don't actually know what I'm doing. I've got a clipboard, I can take some accountability. Yeah, right. Learning from those NCOs, and thank God I had NCOs that were willing to put up with my dumb self and really develop me into a better leader. It also helped me learn patience, that I am not going to be good at it immediately. Man, I wanted to be. I'm used to being good at sports. And so when I come into EOD and I've got a hand entry problem and I am not immediately good at it, reading x-rays are hard. They're backwards and they're weird. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's this. Wrong.
I read x-rays all the time too at work.
They're
and I
so
tell them,
hard. I don't understand.
Well, they give me an x-ray of a wing that, like, part of that wing is cracked. And they're like, you need to read it, like, and look at it and see, like, where the crack's at, and we can take the skin off the top of the aircraft wing. And yeah, it's very tedious.
But you think I should be good at this?
Yeah.
Not being.
You see, I was never trained in it. They just make me do it. So
well, at least I had some training.
I'm like, it's I tell them, it's like a doctor looking at somebody's broken rib, making a determination. Hey, I don't think your rib's broken. Well, I think it is.
True.
It's the whole thing. The other question I have is a 2-part question. Oh, it's actually for all 3. Guru Tom, did you want to answer our last question? Is there anything you want to add to that? The last question we just asked.
No, I'm gonna pass on this one because he was talking to me, asking me to do something.
Okay.
I'll pass on that one. I'll come back to that one. Yeah.
Okay, so here's my other question here. This is like the $1 million one. So my other question is, do you find, this is for Guru Terry, Guru Whitney, and Guru Tom, do you find it's easier to teach a veteran, rather than teach somebody off the street? Do they pick up the material faster, or do you think that somebody off the street picks it up faster? Due to the training that someone's had in the military, attention to detail, leadership skills, the military bearing, all the core value stuff the military, instills in you when you enlist. Do you find that it's easier to teach a veteran? In other words, if a guy's like a 20-year veteran or just a guy who's got out, rather than somebody just off the street, you think they're able to absorb the material faster that's presented to them, the movements and everything, just due to that training. And I'm not saying that people off the street can't learn, or that veterans are better than everybody at everything. That's not what my intent is. This question. The intent is I'm curious as like the material and the information can be processed for somebody that's been in the military rather than somebody that's off the street. So who wants to go first?
I think that someone that's been in the service probably can absorb more information easier. They're more willing to listen to the instructor because that's what you're used to. Especially if you're brand new to something, that you know that this guy's going to teach me something and I have to learn it. Okay, and so because you can, a lot of people can't comprehend what you're trying to teach them, but people in the military have they're able to learn, and they're willing to give you that. I'm not sure the doubt or what, but they're going to take what you say as how it should be done a little bit better than just street. And I think them with some more, as well as those mental skills. They probably have some physical skills that probably would transcend into what we're trying to do in the martial arts. So that's only my opinion. So I mean, I teach kids that are 4 years old how to do a screamer, 5, and they're blocking, and they're doing things that you would never think that a child that age can.
Children, do. Yeah, they can absorb it faster. Same thing with my son. They're picking it fast.
They do.
But getting back to the thing, it's the way that you teach them. You have to teach them in a way that builds them up very quickly, and they learn. And then a lot of this is repetition, but they get used to seeing things, and it desensitizes them. And a military person probably thinks a little bit more the way that I thought, and they're used to hardship. If you get hit in the hand or get hit in the head or something, that they can take that a little bit more. Some of that just never have been in the service. Something that might be not be able to take that kind of momentary pain. Maybe. I think that's what you're looking for, but maybe.
Answered it perfectly. Yes. You're Whitney.
So I'm going to say yes and no. So I'll cover yes first. I agree with a lot of what Guru Terry just said. The ability to endure the suck and to take pain and just drive through and say, oh, it sucked, but understand there's something good on the other side. They've had that experience where they've endured it and they've come out and they appreciate that hard work. They also, a lot of times, will have the physical ability. You have to, for the most part, be in shape for the military. So you're going to have the cardio. You're going to have some of that key hand coordination type stuff. Yeah. So physically and mentally, I think yes. One of the problems I find training military, I have a student right now, he's SF, he's awesome, he's super smart, but that's the problem, right? He's used to being good at stuff. And so when he's not immediately good at a skill or a task where I say, hey, you got to break it down, you missed this little thing that's going to be important later. They're frustrated, like, I just want to do it. They want to go from, and they understand crawl, walk, run, but they want to crawl once, walk once, run the rest of the time. And so they don't have control of a stick or a knife, and they just want to be violent. That is where I think a civilian is a little bit more hesitant. I haven't ever done this. I'm going to take my time and learn it. Military, we're used to learning stuff really quickly and then train the trainer. You got it? Good. Yeah. Train everyone else. So we want that pace. Yeah. And Terry can attest. I would get frustrated as well. I'm like, I am doing it. I got it. Okay, let's just move on. Or get really frustrated.
Yeah, I was the same way too. It's crazy.
Like, oh, I should be able to do this. You just get mad at yourself and you just really want to go full speed all the time. That's what I find as the no. It's harder to teach them because they just want to move faster than I'm comfortable teaching for the safety aspect.
Well, they're special forces, so they're kind of like the upper echelon of the military
Well,
So
I
they're
found
used
that
to.
a lot of military. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Guru Tom.
All right. Okay. I'll come back first to the question that I left earlier on. Okay. So there are a lot of things that I managed to transfer from teaching from military training to teaching people in the like in the reserve officers training course, because after I took my basic ROTC, I went for the advance. So I stayed as an NCO, and I was teaching all of like the new cadets and also the cadet officers, especially like with ranger training, all like rappelling and all those things. So the one thing that I found is um, sometimes it's actually easier to teach like the concept, the principle, and then the application, rather than going through all the all like from A to Z. It makes it easier for them to absorb it. And one of the things that I found out is uh, I managed to I managed to make sure that I try to communicate it in a more concise, short, not too much blabbering, not too much going off tangent. So that's few of the things that I managed um, to bring into my martial arts training. And I got used to like teaching from one to one to a lot of people. Okay, so I managed to actually bring that even when I was teaching in the university, because I teach physical education in college. And sometimes we do get like 20 students, 30 students in one class. So commanding them, basically like making them move at the same time. Yeah, it's almost like military training. So that was really good. So, and yeah, as compared to Guru Whitney, I was sitting on the wrong end. I was sitting on the other end. I'm an NCO. I'm an NCO. So yeah, I did enjoy like putting some of the COs, our cadet officers, through the training, but at least because I want them to understand why we do certain things, because it's really for it was really important. So, but yeah, also like having been an NCO is like, yep, I know that at some point um I can out trump them in certain areas, like in training, but it's still at the end of the day, they are my officers. I
Yeah,
still salute to them.
exactly.
Yeah, so we do have that kind of respect, and at least they know that uh, even though they know that I am more experienced than them in certain areas, they still know that basically I give them the respect that they are due. So, which was really important, and I do find it really helpful, especially with our unit. You need to make sure that you've got a nice rapport with your commanding officer. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the second one, okay. Sometimes it depends on the person, okay. But I also find that yes, like what Guru Terry and Guru Wita has already said, because those who have already served, or those the veterans, or still those who are in active service, they do have the attributes. Okay, it's actually easier for them to pick up a lot of things. But as I said, sometimes it makes it easier for them to pick it up if you basically teach like from concept to application. So it makes it easier for them to relate to it. And then that's when you start like going to the mechanics of what if, what if, what if. So but teach them something first, like this is the concept, this is the application, and then you basically get into the what if. Oh, Brian, what happened to Brian?
He got tired of us.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. He's back. Counting down.
Right.
So yeah, the and like what Guru Witness said, the sometimes the thing is their mindset. Okay, it's different from a layperson, from a civilian, so they attack things in a different way. So people would tend to like think that they're like aggressive, okay, but it's not really. But it's just that they have a different. They're kind of like wired differently. So as compared to civilian.
We've lost our fearless leader.
I know. Brian, come back.
Hello. Well, does anyone in the comments have a question that we could field while we wait for everybody to reconnect?
All right. Dean Franco made a comment. Makes sense. Servicemen making good students due to previous work ethic and discipline. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's true. Same as with athletes as well. So,
Good point.
yeah. Yeah, Morgan Garrett said, all hail and thank you. Thank you to all who love me
Okay,
more
sorry.
than they love themselves, their families, their limbs, and their lives, so I can live free. Thankful to be in the home of the brave.
Thanks, Morgan.
Take me off. I'm back. I don't know what's going on here. But, oh, you already introduced the people that are watching. I'm sorry.
We're just also like reading the comments. So yeah, Dean is here, Morgan is here, Frank, Iron Tree,
Dean,
Ali. So yeah.
the Grand Poobah, Guru Dean's here.
Hi, Brian. Are you doing something different? You're echoing a lot.
Let me see. No, it's
Sound good on this end.
Maybe on my end then.
it might be on your end, yeah, because I guess it says it's working there fine. I'll get back to the interview here. A little pause there. So other question I had as well was since you guys are both, instruct your systems, whatever, has there been a lot more veterans coming to you guys for instruction? Or have you seen an increase lately due to the way the world is now with all the violent attacks and everything? Do we see a lot more veterans getting interested in your martial arts and your systems? Or do we see just kind of like a steady, like you don't see a big difference or increase or decrease, just kind of the same? Go ahead, Guru Whitney, I'll let you go first.
So I would have to say that my situation might be a little bit different than Guru Terry. I am a graduate of our system. I am working on an instructorship, which means I need to take students and I need to train them and I need to hone my skills. But I am with military almost all of the time at work. And so the pool of people I have to talk to this about, and like we just came back from the field, I took training blades. I took some of the young NCOs on our downtime and said, hey, do you want to learn something cool? And so I am able to pull from that pool of military people. My other avenue is my girlfriends. So my neighbor, my friends, like, yeah, we're going to go here. I'm like, do you have a plan? If I'm not going with you and no one else is going with you, I'm not saying women are incapable at all whatsoever. But just having those discussions, do you have a plan? Do you want to maybe come over and train a little bit and sort of slowly walk them in that way? But I would say I'd do more military just because that's the pool of people I'm around.
Do you see a lot of female veterans getting interested in FMA, or is it just mostly male?
So most of my career, I've worked with men. Moving into FA-52, I'm now on a joint assignment. So I've got Air Force, Navy, Army, Marines, and so that's really neat. I would say almost every female, either active duty or veteran that I've talked to, is willing, and most of them are able. There's a smaller population of us in the military, so when you compare, there's going to be more men. But almost every one of them are like, hey, that's cool. Right, so we've already learned.
Let's do it.
I think it's important. We've already learned the respect of violence, and so we've seen what guns and violence and war can do, and so we respect that enough. Military in general, I think, to understand that I'm going to train this to hopefully not do this and to use this kind of a protection. I see a lot of that. I'm going to do it and I'm going to pick a fight. Really, really, really young, naive guys. Anyone that's been in the military for more than a day or a year, I think you start to see that respect for violence and the ability to say, not something I want to do, but I want to be able to. I believe it's what General Mad Dog Mattis, be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everyone you meet.
Yeah. How about you, Guru Terry? Any female veterans in your system over there?
Well, there's not really
except for Guru Whitney, yeah.
I haven't seen too many military people to our organization. It's more people like out of maybe fractions or law enforcement that we get, as well as just normal people off the street that want to learn. Getting a lot of Filipinos are trying to get back into their heritage. They see they see.
That's nice to know.
So it's a really big thing with just learning a Filipino martial art now for a lot of folks. But the other things that we get a lot of different people, not just Filipinos. So and a lot of also I get a lot of parents bring their kids, and they decide to do it all as more of a like father son daughter thing. So I just had not too long ago, and I have a father, son, and daughter, and then I have the husband, wife, daughter. So stuff like that, but not really any military stuff. People come.
How about you, Guru Tom?
I mean, we've got a different situation here in the UK because Filipino martial arts, it's not really that welcome in the military and in the law enforcement.
Yeah.
It's
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a different mindset here. They do find learning it almost like going to be a liability for them when it comes to administration or legal proceedings and everything. But having said that, I do get to train some Royal Marine personnel, but the thing is, I can't, like, for example, I can't train them in an official capacity. So what they do is basically one or two, like, squad leaders come to me for lesson, and then basically they feed it back to their squad. So that's basically what happens. Yeah. So, oh, he's gone again.
Keep getting left.
That must be
I
the
thought your
connection.
answer was great. You didn't have to leave. So that's interesting. I didn't actually think about the fact that that is a legal liability. So when you teach them, are you teaching them disarming? Or are you teaching them, what are you teaching them to kind of bridge that gap?
Okay, so the reason why they find it, I try to find the word, but they find it administrative, as an administrative liability, is because, the way Filipino martial arts is being marketed as the deadliest martial arts.
Yeah.
It doesn't bode well to them. Okay, so now, like, for example, when I teach them, I teach, for example, the use of a stick or any impact weapon according to the context of how they're going to be using it. Like, for example, if they're in the peacekeeping type of work, so whatever target we have to hit it according to their to level 1, level 2, level 3 of the. So they got their green, they got their amber, and they got their red codes. So you can't, for example, if it is only restraining, they only have to hit, like, soft tissue. Okay, so until basically things escalate, then that's the time that they can hit, like, the joints. Until it escalates, that's the only time that they can hit, like, high value targets. Okay, or pressure points, but they can't immediately whack somebody in the head. So that's their protocol. So I have
let you do that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So I don't teach them. I don't approach it in a more traditional way, the way I teach it. So I try to, like, tailor it the way according to their needs. So again, I go back to, like, concept, context, and then the application.
That's really cool.
So it makes it easier for them. Yeah.
Yeah, you can take a really violent martial art and train it for peacekeeping. That's a testament to your teaching.
Good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We got a question from Guru Dean. He has a question for all three people. What overall improvements could be made in their martial arts offerings to the enlisted people?
Clarification, Dean. Do you mean what modifications or overall improvements can the military make, or can FMA in general make?
Well, we lost them, so
We lost Brian again.
No. So Dean commented in the
Yeah.
chat. Okay, so let's just answer from what we think, right? So overall improvements that could be made in martial arts offerings to enlisted. For me, in Colorado right now, it's availability. There are 2 martial arts gyms that they're not the FMA that I learned through Stockton, which is very violent, very block hard, strike hard. It's a lot more almost capoeira type. We're going to get a workout. We're going to kind of move. You're going to get some flows. So my biggest challenge moving is availability of consistent training. And so maybe some sort of network for military. Hey, if you come here and you start at this gym, here are individuals at these local bases, or we're going to do a once a week virtual so that you can keep your skills and that you can start improving and that type of stuff. Now, I'm lucky. I know that Stockton does those types of things, and that I can call Pete and Marianne at any time and they'll do a Zoom with me. That is a very minute population. That's just me. So availability, moving from place to place for consistent training would be my improvement.
So I'm not sure if I have the question right, but I think that FMA training as an infantryman, when I was back then, to have access to instruction on just would have helped the confidence level of a soldier, just being able to deal with weapons. Okay, you can hand to hand is one thing, but dealing with someone with a weapon, you have to have that training to be a well-rounded martial artist. You got to have your stand-up training. You got to have your weapons training, some groundwork, something so that all of a sudden you're there and somebody's on the top of you. He's getting ready to start pounding on you. What are you going to do if you had some kind of a working knowledge of Filipino martial arts, especially when it concerns weaponry, that it can help you? Like that would be a good change in the military combatives programs. For what they do, they might, but I feel that the way that we teach in our style, that there's certain things that you can do and you can learn pretty quickly. What we do during seminars, that try to teach them all these stuffs. You can teach them some functional things that concern distance, power, and timing, and not getting hit. And you can teach something that in a couple hours, and then you become functional in certain things.
It's a good point, Terry.
Yeah.
We teach a lot of combatives, but you're right. That's not weapons.
Yeah.
Very few programs I've seen, and it's usually one guy who knows it, adds it to their company's program. What do you do on the ground if someone's trying to get your weapon? We don't teach that in the military. That's a really good point, Terry.
Do it, Tom.
Yeah, I second basically what Terry said, because one of the things that the Royal Marines that I've been teaching gave to me as a feedback is that in the long range, basically, it allows them to understand how to keep the gap much better. And for example, in riot control, it also allows them to like how to get that ranging properly done, so that they don't they don't have to be always in contact with the opposite people. Now, with regards to like close quarter combat, as Terry has already like explained, weapon retention is really important, because normally, like for example, they said if you basically get into room clearing, okay, when somebody tries to like go for your weapon, then definitely from long range immediately you get into zero, okay, range. And it's really important that you understand how to retain your weapon. And they learn quite a lot of the weapons retention through the FMA that I teach them as well. So the same thing when we were like training in the Philippines back then in the UPROTC. That's also what we did. Quite a lot of weapon retention. So whether it is standing up or on the ground, we did quite a lot of them.
Nice.
So
I think Dean had another. Yeah, Dean said, "Is funding an issue to get qualified instructors in specific areas?" Anyone want to take that one first? Okay, I can speak from my point of view.
yeah,
So funding in the military is always an issue. As far as the Combatives program, I think that the Army isn't looking to get qualified instructors for the general military population. We've got a Combatives program, and again, I am not speaking for the military. This is simply how I see from where I sit. But I don't think that we're actively looking to get instructors to teach FMA or weapon retention. I think it seems that they believe Combatives is sufficient. I know a lot of Tier 1 or specialty SF type units probably have a little bit more funding and a little bit more interest.
yeah.
But for the general military population, I don't think it's a key soldier skill that we are looking to develop or train.
All right. How about you, go, Terry?
Well, like the military is more like teamwork kind of things. So they're not really concentrating too much on the at least during when I was in a long time ago. But that there wasn't too much individual training, rather trying to develop teamwork kind of stuff where we all move as a unit. I mean, the closest that we got to any really combative stuff was when they still do the Hugel with the kind of like both the and each other like that stuff. That was probably
I don't think so.
Combative.
Yeah, I know the base where I work at. They approached me a while back. One of the guys did that. I know works in security forces, and they wanted to like learn the age weapons, stuff like that. But then, it's the funding. They have like a limited amount of funding every year around October. I know, like we're training base now. There's ATC, it was Air Combat Command, but now it's recently transferred to ATC, Air Education Training Command. And then the Air Force doesn't want to spend a whole lot of money on their security forces learning edge weapons. They rather generate newer aircraft, modifications, newer aircraft, keep the mission going, flying sorties, stuff like that. So that kind of stuff's kind of, they told me they get back with me, but it's been over a year now. So I'm like, okay, well, they haven't got back to me over a year. So it's like, it's probably not going to happen, but the funding is definitely an issue. My personal opinion on that is also I think the realistic training can be improved on with some of the military people. Pressure testing, realistic training.
That is important.
Not something.
Scenario based as well. Scenario based.
Yeah. But that's my my opinion on that. That surprised me. But there's been a great show, guys. I like it. I like the answers we're getting here. Your Whitney's coming out was on fire with the technical stuff tonight. I'm just here, just listening to you guys. But the final question I have for you guys. before we. I don't want to take everybody's time too long tonight. So the final question I have for you guys is: when you look back on your military service, what stands out for you the most out of the time you served in the military? Whitney, you're still serving, and also as well. The second part of the question is, would you want your kids to enlist in today's military as it stands now? Not the military we were in before when we first enlisted. I know that the Air Force has changed completely from the time I enlisted to now. I see people walk around with ponytails hanging out, beards. That was never allowed when I was in. So, I mean, it's completely changed. But now, with the military now, would you want your kids to enlist? So I don't know who wants to take the question first. It's a two-part question. So Terry looks like he's ready. He's eager. So I'll give him the.
With my son going to the military, I think that it's an experience. I think that he would decide whether or not he would want to stay in after a while. I think that if all my uncles, they should have told me this. In. I wasn't really in contact with them. I wish that one would put me aside in the rare aspect and re-enlist. It was an experience. I think it would also be an experience for my son.
Kira Whitney.
So we'll start with the first one, the most memorable experience. So I could pull from a ton of experiences from all of the deployments, right? All of your missions are really cool and you get to do a lot of cool stuff. But I think it's a conglomeration of those experiences for the people that you meet. Before I came in the military, your family's your family and your friends are your friends, right? That's how it works. Being in the military for 15 years, I think there's a quote in the Bible a lot of people get wrong, that the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. And a lot of times that military family, they're the ones that show up. They're the ones that drive 30 hours, will hop on a plane for a 2-day if you call and say, I need you. And that is something that you don't really experience until you fight side by side with someone and realize brother and sister has a whole new meaning. So I think that would be my biggest experience overall, is just loving someone enough to fight with them and do anything for them and watch relationships get built based on effort instead of blood. I think that's huge. As far as wanting my children to enlist. Ooh, buddy. Parents want better for their children.
Question.
Right? It is a loaded question. So parents want better for their children. I would not change my military experience. I'm still experiencing it. I absolutely love being in the military. But as we all four and many of the other veterans know, it is a hard 20 or however many years you serve. And so I don't know if I would want my children to be in that type of danger, because I don't know if my mama heart could handle it. So I would maybe Coast Guard. I don't know. Guard a coast and do some customs. Those guys do a lot of really important stuff. But I think I would maybe have them, if you're going to serve, look at some other type of civil servant potentially. Because I honestly just don't know if I could handle them being in that much.
Don't have them be a maintainer like me. Destroys your body, expose you to cancerous chemicals.
Right. Not what I'm looking for as a mother. As a woman, I want them to be, I have a daughter and a son, so I want her to be empowered, and I want her to know that she can do anything, and so can he. And if they choose to join the military, I'll be extremely proud, but I will probably try to shove them somewhere else.
How about you, Guru? How about you?
Okay. Me, I think your Whitney said a lot. Like, I have some experience as well. We'll be on here all night talking about them, and some of them aren't family friendly, so we're going to talk about them. But yeah, I think we are part of a brotherhood and a sisterhood of when you enlist and put the uniform on and you sign up and do your 2 or 3 years, 4 years, or many years you do, you were part of a brotherhood and sisterhood for life. And those people, like Whitney said, I still talk to people I went to basic training with. One of my best friends, he just retired. He did 24 years. He did like 8 deployments to Afghanistan, Iraq. He's like a deployment junkie. He just retired, and like I went to basic training with him. I went to tech school with him. I went to our first base and their second base, and I got deployed with him. And then we kind of separated ways after I got deployed. We both went. He went to another base. I went to another base. I went to Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. He went to Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, A-10 Squadron in Arizona. And those people. But the people I served with, I still talk to them on Facebook. I talk to them on the phone. And if you don't put that uniform on, you're never going to know that kind of closeness and brotherhood and sisterhood until you've been in. There's no way a civilian that's never served can understand a lot of stuff that military people have gone through for PTSD.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, and just closeness they've had and the stuff when they've been deployed. I mean, I'm sure Girl Whitney's seen so much she doesn't want to talk about. I've seen stuff too I don't want to talk about. But like you got that support system with people that are veterans, and you're going to have that the rest of your life. I mean, there's a guy that's begging for change in the corner. Unfortunately, we have to change that. A guy that you'll see him with a hat or a shirt on that he was in the military, and you can instantly form that bond with that person because they know what it's like to have a uniform on. And I think that's something that people, like I said, have never served. And it's not nothing against bad anybody that's never served, but they're never going to know what that feels like until they put that uniform on. And the second part of the question is, do I want my kids to enlist? I do, because I believe, like Girl Whitney was saying, you get a technical skill. I mean, I went from knowing whatever about aircraft, and now I have airframe power plant license, civilian sector. I could work on any aircraft I want to. I worked on the F-22, the F-35. I worked on the B-2 Stealth, F-117. I worked on all those airframes, and I never could have done that if I never was in the military. But now it's allowed me when I got out to get a good paying job, that I could have gotten if I just would have tried to went to school, So it does give you that training. Do I want my kids to enlist? I do.
Oh, he's done again.
Looks like it's your turn.
Okay, well, he's back. I'm saved.
You're not getting out of it.
Yeah, I know. Come on, Brian. Oh, it's blue screen. Okay, well, I might as well say my piece then while waiting for Brian. Well, I didn't manage to get to wait. Oh, there he is. Go.
Oh, sorry.
Carry on.
Oh, did you hear what I said, or did you guys didn't catch it?
We heard until basically you got cut.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, I like for my son to enlist, but he's a rock star guy. He doesn't want to cut his hair. So, he's in a band, 2 bands. So he doesn't have any illusions. Give me a rock star.
Oh, he's good again. Oh, wait, and he's back.
Why don't you go ahead? He can finish up, I'm sure.
All right, okay. So, well, I can never actually say that I have experienced what you have experienced, guys. Okay, so I was cut off. I was basically cut short from my training, but I can only basically like relate from the point of view of being like in a rescue and emergency preparedness stuff. I like what you've experienced. I did love basically the training and the camaraderie that I formed with my group back then. Not everybody went to be an NCO like me. We went to the advanced training, but yeah, I managed to form quite great bonds with my group and with the rest of the cadet officers that we were training, and with the sponsors and with all the other stuff that we do. It's really a shame that our training got cut off because of the political situation in the Philippines. So I was really looking forward to become a fully fledged special forces uh, special forces guy, Green Beret. But um, I wish basically that my my sons will enlist, but it's maybe with my youngest because there's a lot of things that I managed to develop while I was an NCO. Okay, besides the camaraderie, the leadership training, um, technical skills, basically that we managed to learn, and all those sorts. And I do believe that if they get to enlist in the military, they're gonna get more development, both skill wise and personal level wise as well.
That's
So
a good
yeah.
point. So I know we're waiting for him to come back on. I think that was our last question, but I don't know about you. I brought some show and tell, some of my favorites.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. So I got this from
Wow.
my husband as a gift.
Like
That's
wrong.
nice. Not wrong.
It
Awesome.
is my favorite. It's got a beautiful handle. I'm pretty
It's
sure
a false
quality.
edge.
Yes. It's from TFW.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Extremely sharp.
Yeah.
Very nice. So one of the best things about being in Filipino martial arts is that one, it's easy for my husband to pick presents, and two, I get knives. It's awesome.
Kids.
It's the best, right? So here's two. We just went to show and tell when you left. Sorry.
Okay, I see it. I saw it.
So when so Explosive Ordnance Disposal, so we have an auction and a memorial every year in Eglin Air Force Base. And
Woo,
so I
England,
got
33rd.
yeah.
I was there.
I got these two from an auction, right? So people donate, and then
Whoa.
Wow.
EOD Warrior Foundation.
Wow.
EOD Warrior Foundation.
Man, that's a monster
helps,
knife.
I know it helps EOD families and those of the fallen. And then look at this.
Wow, it's like a Rambo knife.
Like I've got places to store stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the best purse ever, right?
Thinking ahead. I like that.
Okay, with this one. I haven't used this one. It's a little thin. I don't know its actual utility, but it's definitely the zombie.
Whoa.
Right?
Rated edge. Wow.
That's amazing. It's rated edge. I'm pretty sure I can cut something with it. Again, EOD Wounded Warrior. Very
It's like
sharp.
a parang.
But it's a thin blade, as you can see. I'm not sure how many chops I would get with this. But at least
Oh, it only takes one.
That's right. I think it definitely only take one with this. So that's about
Zombies beware.
Okay, now we see the demo now.
Right? Let me get my good Bahalanaw stance. I don't have room here with my bookshelf. But yeah. Next show,
Lively
we just
demo.
demonstrate all of our weapons.
That's nice. Yeah.
I like that. I like
Thank
that.
you. That's all I have for show and tell. That's all I
Oh, next one.
Oh no, I lied.
One more.
Everyone knows what this is, right?
Army
So-
saber.
Army Saber. So I actually have one that is actually functional versus the actual pretty one that you can buy at Marlowe White. So it's extremely intricate. Again, another gift from my
That's
husband.
beautiful.
I only get my
Wow.
weapons as gifts anymore.
I never got that. All I got was a cheap pocket knife on a flat line.
But that's awesome, by the way.
Put in their toolbox.
Eaglewood. It's got a great grip.
Wow.
Beautiful
Wow.
saber inside.
Woo.
Woo! I about knocked over my. Well,
Oh, that's
there you
beautiful.
go.
That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, this one's actually sharp versus the fake one that they tell you to carry. When in uniform, right? You let me
Yep.
carry a saber. I'm gonna carry a saber.
Better not mess with me.
I know. Like, what'd you say?
Yeah,
Walking
exactly.
around outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't be mad. It's a little heavier though. I was like, ooh, this is gonna.
Oh.
That's okay. Totally worth it. That's all the show until I have.
Go, Terry, your turn.
Terry, yeah, Terry. We
Everybody's pulling out their weapons. Pick that guitar off the wall, start playing the song on the way out. I'll feel something. That's what I want to hear.
Thanks,
Some
Jeremy.
Well, it's been great, guys. This has been great. Definitely got to do this again. Like I said, I just wanted to come on and feature for It Kicks Me Off again. Features some great people, great veterans. You guys are awesome. Total 1,000% respect for every single person on this panel. Guru Tom, Guru Whitney, Guru Terry. Absolute respect for all of you. Everything you've done. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. So, yeah, guys. Guru Tom, you got anything to say before we?
I mean, it was an honor meeting both of you and hearing your stories.
Yeah, it was awesome. I wish we had more time to do it. We'll definitely have to do it again.
I know. Yeah.
Thank you for the invite. Thank you for
You need to
letting us
make it
tell
longer,
our story.
Brian.
Talk about
Welcome.
veterans. This was
Guru
awesome.
Whitney will keep in contact. Maybe
Yes, sir.
making some of those pins again. Maybe we'll see.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
maybe. At the sea. Supplies are limited right now because of the boats. But
I'm telling
yeah,
you, I
we'll
wear
definitely
that
get
thing
together.
all the time.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
All the time. I love it.
really? How heavy was it?
So it's just a hairpin.
Just the hairpin I made.
Looks kind of like this one.
Ah,
And
I don't want to self-promote on here, guys. I don't want to self-promote.
I love it. It's got a ring for retention, and it's very nice and sharp, and it's carbon fiber. It holds your hair, and it, can do some damage. So I like
Well,
it.
it's not carbon fiber. It's a different kind of composite.
Sorry,
Right.
it looks like carbon fiber.
Yeah, it's the way the grains are, the matrix is in the resin. So
I like it.
just as strong, though. Just as strong.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's awesome. I'm glad you're using it. And like I said, I'm not trying to self-promote, guys. So don't slam me too much. You're trying to advertise here. But I'm glad Guru Whitney has it. I hope that she never has to ever use it, ever. Pray she
Agreed.
never has to use it. But
I have
she
it if
does.
I need to.
She'll be ready. Exactly. Guru Terry, any last words?
I'd like to thank you for letting me come on the show. It was a great experience. I also want to thank all the veterans out there. And for yesterday, I had about 7 or 8 stops on my yearly veterans crawl. And
Only had 3.
I'm still a couple different places, Chili's. So I'm gonna try to get them. I'm gonna start earlier next year. Thank you.
all right. Thank you for your service, guys. Thank you for your service.
Thank
Guru
you.
Whitney, you have any last words?
No, echo Terry's as well. Thank you. Thank you for bringing light to Veterans Day. Thank you for making this such a special show and allowing us to be here and share this with you.
We're
And
going to
really
try to
kind
do
of-
this at least once a month, try to feature a veteran.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
So,
Yeah.
awesome. Good for you.
This is going to be Guru Brian's special episode for FMA
yeah.
Discussion.
Yeah,
I love it.
see, they only trust me with this episode.
Not really. This is a good one.
Thank you, everybody, for watching, though. Guru Dean, everybody watching.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching.
Great, guys. Great. Have a great night, everybody. And if there's any other veterans out there that want to be featured, I have a list of people. It was hard to narrow it down, but please message me, and then we'll try to get you on the show. But thank you, everybody, for watching. This is episode 220. And, yeah.
Stay safe, everybody.
Guys. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great night. Guru Whitney, stay safe in the field. Guru Terry, stay safe. Guru Tom,
Thank
same
And you,
as well.
and you
Yes,
guys.
sir.
As well. But
Thank you.
thanks for watching. I'm gonna post this. Guru Tom, you gonna post this on YouTube channel?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna post this on the YouTube channel, guys. So leave your comments,
What do
like,
you think? Yeah.
subscribe. Yep. Awesome. All right. Good night, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Take care. Bye.
Right.
All right, Guru Tom. Another great show. I'll give you a virtual high five.
All right. Until the next one.
Until the next one. Thank you for watching, everybody. Everybody have a great night, and we'll see you next week. Who we have next week, Guru Tom? Who's next episode we got?
Oh, we've got Valkyrie.
Valkyrie.
From Australia.
Okay, awesome. Watch that
Yeah.
show, guys. It's gonna be
Yeah.
great. We got some good guests coming up. Guru Tom's killing it. Guru Dean's killing it.
Yeah, we also have
Angelo,
Susan Alberto.
Susan
Yeah.
Alberto, yeah, a great practitioner,
Yeah.
a woman. Yeah, it's going to be on here. So, yeah. All right, guys. Have a great night. Take care, Guru Tom. Good night.
Enjoy the weekend, guys.
Have a
Bye.
good weekend, guys. Keep training. See you later.